Admiral Stavridis, good to see you.
Great seeing you, Chuck Todd.
The last time we spoke, it was literally, it turned out to be just a week or so before we acted in Venezuela.
Yeah.
Now I speak to you, and the question is, am I speaking to you days before we do something in Iran or weeks? Because it certainly looks like we're doing something soon. But you know this world a lot better than I do. What do you see at the moment?
Yeah, I'll give you 3 words out of the Pentagon vocabulary, which are set the table. We were in the process of setting the table, and to my reasonably experienced eye in this world, that table is set not to kind of threaten the Iranians, but I look at specifically what weapon systems are flowing, where they're landing, where we are in the problem. My eye says we're going in days, not weeks.
Look, we're speaking midweek here. It's possible that we're going to, if you're seeing this interview on a Thursday or Friday, it means we've acted. If we've made it to Sunday,
Yeah.
It means we didn't. So let's time travel here.
Sure.
If we don't act in the next 5 days, what was this about?
The Trump administration is taking the Teddy Roosevelt philosophy here, speak softly, speak diplomatically in this case, but carry a big stick. And that stick is set the table, and the purpose of bringing them together is to clarify the minds of the Iranians. We'll know, I think, in the next week or 2 at the most, whether that happens or not. I'll close with this. I think the Iranians have a bad hand of cards.
Yeah.
They're playing it pretty well.
So let's put ourselves in the Iranian shoes here.
Sure.
The joke in Wall Street is about taco with Trump. Trump always chickens out. If you're Iran, that's not always the case. You can't sit here. He's not tacoed Iran.
Right.
He took out Soleimani in his first term in a brazen attack that a bunch of people told him could trigger a whole bunch of things that it did not trigger.
Yeah.
Then he goes in and hits these nuclear sites. We still don't know how successful the strikes were, but they were certainly successful enough to expose Iran as potentially a paper tiger.
Yeah.
So they know he might not swerve if you're playing a game of chicken. But I look at Venezuela, and while he took out Maduro, he did not take out the regime. So if you're the Iranians, and you see what's happening with Venezuela, you can negotiate your way out of this. Is that how you think they're looking at this?
If I'm an Iranian, I'm thinking of 2 acronyms. You mentioned one, TACO, Trump always chickens out. Good example of that is the tariffs, Liberation Day, the markets collapse.
Wall Street chick makes him taco.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's a taco element here.
Yeah.
There's also FAFO, F-A-F-O.
Right.
F around and find out.
Right.
And I think that if I'm Iranian, I'm kind of looking toward the FAFO part of the equation because I've experienced it.
Right.
And in Venezuela, don't forget, at the end of the day, the snatch of our man Maduro was, in fact, a FAFO. Maduro was prancing around the country, dancing, don't worry, be happy. I think that's what triggered Trump. So if I am an Iranian leader right now, I'm looking at those 2 things and I'm thinking, he's probably going to go, but let's try and string it out as long as we can.
Yeah.
Let's sit down with the talented Mr. Witkoff and his sidekick, Jared Kushner, and let's see how long we can make this string go. I don't think it's going to go much longer, Chuck.
Well, it's clear they tried to buy, Tehran says, well, we got a 2-week window. And then I look at all this movement of military assets.
Yeah.
Do you have a 2-week window?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because if you're the Pentagon, man, that clock is ticking.
Right.
And by the way, if you want one indicator to watch the position of USS Gerald Ford.
Yeah.
That ship is going through the Strait of Gibraltar right now. When it gets off the coast of Israel, that's game on.
The clock truly has started when the Ford gets to that position.
You're not going to launch that attack without 2 carriers, 2 different axes. They've just dragged all the fighters into theater.
Right.
The bombers are stationed at Diego Garcia. The table gets set 2-3 days from when we are having this conversation. Then Trump, my view, is not going to sit around for 2 weeks of buying a rug from the Iranians.
So what have we've set the table.
Right.
Is this regime change? Is this ground troops? Is this, what is this? Because this is the political part of this, which is we've not gone to Congress. There's really been no case made to the public.
No warm up.
It really is one of these, we're all flying blind here, and it's uncomfortable to see our men and women in uniform sort of, we're not quite sure what's happening.
Yeah.
What are we setting that if we are indeed doing military action?
Right.
What kind of action are we preparing for?
We are clearly not setting the table for boots on the ground.
Okay.
And the reason is, in one word, Iraq. If you look at our experience in Iraq, a country half the size of Iran with half the population. Iran has a population of 90 million. It's 3 times the size of Texas.
We're not going to be greeted as liberators?
We're not going to be greeted as liberators, newsflash.
Yeah.
So, point being, ground forces are not on the table. They would have to be flowing now. So that's
what
not
is
there.
this?
So this is a threat to go in and take out the supreme leader, some cadre of the senior mullahs, probably the top echelons of the Revolutionary Guards. This is the beating heart of the theology. Take them off the table, and then below that level, let's see what happens. That's the play. Whether you think that's a good strategy or an unpredictable strategy, that's what I see the table is set to do.
So I was in the Middle East about a month ago in Abu Dhabi, which has a gigantic Iranian diaspora.
Yeah.
And this was all anybody was talking about in December. Okay, the feeling that the mullahs days are numbered. This was pre-protest. Like, it is real that it feels like, I don't know if it's 6 months or if it's 3 years, but it ain't 10 years.
I agree with
that. Okay. One of my sources described the current president as somebody who quietly sees himself that maybe he can play the Gorbachev role here. Is it clearly, so if our military strategies take out the supreme leader, we're going to want some structure here.
Yeah.
So the back channel might end up being with the elected president.
Correct. Note what I said. Take out the supreme leader, his lieutenants, and potential successors, that rotten theocracy at the top. Take out the leading members of the Revolutionary Guard, the zealots, the true believers. What does that leave to work with? The conventional military and the democratically elected government. And let's remember,
it's a democracy.
It is a democracy. They have vibrant elections.
Yes.
Candidates rise and fall. Chuck Todd could be on.
Now, the
Meet
supreme
Press,
leader
Tehran.
decides who gets to be on the ballot, but the ballot, the election itself is as free as you can have in a theocracy.
See paragraph 1.
Right.
Get rid of the rotten theocracy. You actually have a potential democratic
this has
layer
been the
there.
dream.
It's been the dream, and I think I'm with that diaspora.
Amen.
We've never been
wanna
closer, and we've been working this for a long time. Hey, final thought. You haven't mentioned the son of the Shah.
Well, this is a question, the monarchy aspect. Okay, look.
Oh, no, the monarchy's not coming back. But could he be part of a transition?
But the son of the Shah sort of grounds himself in this sort of lost monarchy here.
Not if he doesn't place himself on the peacock throne, but rather says, I am every man, I am come back. Maybe he works with the president. I can spin all kinds of wonderful scenarios.
Well, I will say this, that gentleman is certainly trying to gather.
He is.
It almost feels like there's a campaign for financial resources for something that hasn't happened yet.
He's looking for the Iowa caucuses.
Yes.